here or you there?
In the meantime, we could sing.
So the discussion is about what is the definition of a Melacha She'eino Tzricha L'Gufo. And the definition is very important l'maisa because Melacha She'eino Tzricha L'Gufo is not Asher Min HaTorah. It's only Asher Mid'Rabbanan. And when it comes to Nizvei Negeh, a lot of time you could be mekel and something's only Isser Rabbanan. There's a tshuva from Melacha about some. The Sheaino was about going out with someone had the hefsek tara with the meichdachot. The Sheaino was bein hashmashis was Shabbos. The lady needed to leave the house, so could she leave with the meichdachot? So he gets into the discussion: is it a Melacha She'eino Tzricha L'Gufo? Sometimes bein hashmashis he could be mekel by Isser Rabbanan. So it comes up over there. And also in other cases, important by.
Why did Melacha She'eino Tzricha L'Gufo no?
Oh, so we'll see. In the Tesis, we're going to see. He brings from the Tesis later why it could be Melacha She'eino Tzricha L'Gufo. And also, when it comes to Isser D'Rabbanan, a lot of times by Amir L'Akum, let's say Mitzvah, you can do Isser D'Rabbanan through a goy. So if it's a Melacha She'eino Tzricha L'Gufo, it's only D'Rabbanan, and you can do it through a goy. So what is the definition? So we're going to have to see what is Hagdar Melacha She'eino Tzricha L'Gufo. So b'cholos there's three shittas in the Rishonim. There's the Rashba and then there's the Tesis, which are pretty straightforward and clear. Then there's Rashi. Rashi's shittas is not so clear what it is. And then we're going to see the Alter Rebbe also has a different way. Has a fourth dera, another way of teaching Melacha She'eino Tzricha L'Gufo. We're going to have to see where it comes from. So first in the instance, what's the patur of Melacha She'eino Tzricha L'Gufo? Why is it patur? So the Gemara in Chagiga says that the patur of Melacha She'eino Tzricha L'Gufo is because Melachas Machshavas Asra Torah. We learn now from the Mishnah that only if you're mechashiv for the Melacha, that's when you are chayiv. So if you weren't miskaven for the guf of the Melacha, therefore you're Mid'Rabbanan Torah, there is no Isser. Well, maybe Mid'Rabbanan it's Asr.
What's Melachas Machshavas?
Melachas Machshavas.
39 Melachas. They didn't do it by accident.
It was with Kavanah. There's different types of Melachas Machshavas. What they're from the.
In the Melachas, they did it to do it.
We learn it from the Pasuk, the Lashon of.
You knew what you were doing, and every Melacha you know what you're doing.
No, but Machshava, you're miskaven.
That's what
you're miskaven.
Miskaven. We're not. Machshavas, miskaven, two different things.
No, I'm saying that we're learning it out that your kavanah is for the guf of the malacha. We're learning from Melachas Machshavas that you're only chayiv when you're miskaven for the guf of the malacha.
Ah, okay. It's a drop different. You're miskaven for the guf of the malacha.
That's when you're chayiv.
Not doing the malacha.
So the question is, what is the pasha taich? How do you taich Melacha She'eino Tzricha L'Gufo? You didn't need the guf of the malacha. What is this guf of the malacha? So let's see how the Rashba teaches.
It's like you're driving and then you don't really need to drive.
Well, why are you driving? so it has to be. You have to be doing it for some reason. What? So look at the Rashba in the first Maramakim. So the Rashba was talking about the Gemara that says Rabbi Shimon is pater if someone carries out a dead body on Shabbos. Someone carries out a body to go bury him on Shabbos. You're pater because it's Melacha She'eino Tzricha L'Gufo. Yeah. Even though you did the Israel, so you're pater. Why?
It's the same thing as Melachas Machshavas. You go you take Chadashul, you drive the thing. The Machshava wasn't to drive. The Machshava was to get the shul.
Let's say the first Maramakim.
Right. You can say that by every Melacha.
Pater.
I did a hammer and a nail to build, not because I wanted to.
Look in.
Except what are the 30 Lamites Melachas? Except the Lamites Melachas.
Look in the first Maramakim.
No, but what is that?
In the first Maramakim, the Rashba says, "Why are you pater when you carry out a dead person to bury him?" It says, "Pater harei Rabbi Shimon ach the meisias ameis l'kavra." Even someone carries out a dead person to bury him. Pirush. Mishum da'av zoi Melacha She'eino Tzricha L'Gufo, because this is also Melacha She'eino Tzricha L'Gufo. Why? You don't have any hana from the Melacha. You're taking out this person, so the house shouldn't be tamei, it shouldn't smell bad, it shouldn't do things to the house.
Maybe because I want to be nice to the mess and bury him, I shouldn't leave him buried.
We're not. You're taking him out of.
Right.
You say you're taking it out because you're trying minias hatuma. Avahana, what is the hana you have? Avahana he minias hatuma shuhu meine mimenu peitza asay. But what is that? The only hana you have is over here that you're preventing damage. You're stopping tumah. You're preventing tumah. So you see the Rashba says, what's the Agdara of Melacha, which is Tzricha Gufa? If you have a hana, if you have a hana, a positive hana from the Melacha that you're doing, then it's Tzricha Gufa. And he brings a few examples, and he touches these more in the second paragraph. Right? If you trap a snake in order that shouldn't bite you, that's saying it's Tzricha Gufa. Why? You're only stopping damage. You don't have any hana from the gufa of the melacha for the actual thing you're doing. You don't need the snake. You have no hana from it. You're not benefiting from it. You're only preventing the damage. So too, someone puts out a wick or coals. It's also melacha she'ein tzricha gufa. Why? You don't have any benefit from the actual extinguishing. All you're doing is that you're preventing it from getting burnt up. You're preventing a fire, but you have no positive benefit from it. You're only going to be chayiv in what case? If it was a new wick and you wanted to scorch it, you wanted to light it once in order that the second time it should be easier to light. So then, when you put it out, when you extinguish it, you create a pecham, and then you benefit from it. Then you needed to relight it and to extinguish it. And the kibbeh itself is what's being a tikkun, so you're actually benefiting from the extinguishing itself. So this is so.
Anything you took out a fire regularly. If you took out a you were fire standard.
In order to prevent in order to stop a fire.
Yeah.
It's just a melacha she'ein tzricha gufa. You didn't. Are you benefiting?
That question is a good question. You can say that by almost every.
What if I was hot and I put out the fire not to be hot? Then it's a different.
No, you're preventing it.
Why I put it out? What if I put it out because it was too hot for me?
So you're just stopping.
Was getting too hot.
So you're just
not hana.
It's not hana. You're just stopping something that's bothering you. The heat is bothering you. If you turn on the air conditioner, that would be tzricha gufa, right? Because you're enjoying the hot, you're enjoying the cool air.
It's only when I'm enjoying that thing.
If it was too cold,
a fine line here.
If the air conditioner was too high and you turned it off, so that would be in a tzricha gufa because you're just stopping the thing that's bothering you.
But if I put it on, it's.
If you turn it on, if you turn on the heater because it's too cold and you turn on the heater, that's tzricha gufa. You're having hana on the melacha.
It can't be shlil. It has to be positive. It's a very, very fine line.
Very fine line.
Very fine.
This is a good line.
This is
a good line.
It's a fine.
I'm building a sukkah, not to build a sukkah, but because I want to be yetz of the mitzvah. So maybe I'm allowed.
Not. Oh, so you're getting into another discussion. If you do something tzedek mitzvah, is mitzvah considered tzricha l'gufa? That's another machlekes of Sheaino. If someone carries out a lulav on Shabbos to go do the mitzvahs, is it tzricha l'gufa? So that's another big discussion about that. I don't think we're going to have time for it in this year. But so this is the I think to me it seems like this is the most pashut taich in the word tzricha l'gufa. You need the gufa, the thing that you have enough from it. Well, the shit of the Rashba isn't brought down in Shulchan Aruch. The other two shittas are brought down by the Pesach we're going to see after. It's just Tesis and Rashi. What does Tesis say? So it looks scary, but it's really just one. The main Ikar Vart is the first paragraph, and the next three paragraphs are just examples of Melacha she'ein tzricha gufa. So what does Tesis say? So Tesis says Melacha she'ein tzricha gufa is the way it was done in the Mishkan. The way they did this melacha in the Mishkan, that's the gufa of the melacha. In order to be chayiv, you need to be doing it with the same purpose that they had in the Mishkan.
That means there's no tildes.
There is tildes, but the tildes,
the souls, the avodas hamishkan.
How so? So let's see. How does Tesis Taiches in the second Maramalkin? Tesis. So this is also in Shabbos. I've something down that on Beis on Aleph. Tesis Taiches nirali. The melacha she'ein tzricha l'gufa, kari k'sha'isa melacha ve'ein tzricha la'isei tzorich ke'ein shahuyu tzrichin lo b'mishkan. When you do a melacha and you don't have the same tzorich like the way they needed it in the Mishkan. Elalein acher, you had a different purpose. Why? Ki ha'tzorich sha'isa melacha nasis b'shviloi b'mishkan, because this tzorich which they did the melacha for in the Mishkan, hu guf ha'melacha v'shershei. That's the guf of the isra, the melacha, and the sheidish. So therefore, if you didn't have the same purpose they had in the Mishkan, you're not going to be chayiv.
Told us to be the right, some be the rabbanan.
Midaraisa. So it's similar. If the Tolda is similar to the Av Melacha, that it's Tzricha L'Gufa, you had the same purpose in the Tolda that the way they had an Av Melacha in the Mishkan, you're going to be Chayev. So how so? So what does this mean? So Tesis Taichazais, he gives a bunch of examples. Well, the Fizeh, Asi Kulu Shapim. This is a different Hagdara than the Rashba, yeah. Later Rashba, the vart is, do you have Hana from the Gufa Dover? So you're lighting a fire, do you have Hana from the fire?
Even if I did it in a totally different way than it was in the Mishnah.
Yeah, even if it was with a different purpose. Yeah, it doesn't have to.
Still has to be the same purpose, we say.
Like Tarash, it has to be. It has to be that you have Hana from the.
It's all about the Hana and not Hana.
Yeah, are you having positive?
But the Melacha has to be a Melacha that's done in the Mishkan.
No, but even if it's a Melacha that's done in the Mishkan and you don't have Hana from it, it'll be Ein Tzarech L'Gufa.
Yeah.
Whereas the second shot has nothing to do with Hana. Even if I don't have Hana from it, but it was the way it was done in the Mishkan, I'll be Chayev.
Right, or if I'm having Hana from it, but it's not the way it's done in the Mishkan, I'm going to be Pater.
Right.
So let's see. So Tasi gives a bunch of examples. It's like a Shmaka Tasi. It's a very, very, very sadistic. He writes all Fisa Asay Kulu Shapi. All cases Melacha Shein Tzricha goes well that the Gemara brings down. How so? Heitzas HaMeis. Why are you pater when you carry a dead person bury him? Ein tzarech LaMeis. You didn't need the actual dead body.
Mishkan. Maybe he's accepting to get money from the family Motzoi Shabbos.
But let's hear what this writes.
Okay.
When in Mishkan, when they carried out things, they carried the beams. They actually needed to use the beams. The person is carrying out the dead person. He doesn't need him. He's just taking him out to bury him. He's not using this thing. So that's one example. Sad nachash leishachenu. When you trap the snake in order that it shouldn't bite you, you don't need the actual snake. In the Mishkan, the animals which they trapped, they actually needed them. They used them. They took the skin, they took the blood from the chilazim.
Now he's making more sense to the Rashba, though.
No, Poel Yoitzi brings similar examples. Ends up the same, but it's just
a different reason.
How you look at it.
All these cases in Melacha and Tzricha L'Gufa are cases which are brought down in the Gemara. So at the end of the day, most cases everyone's going to agree on, right? Because you have to.
The question is why?
What's the reason?
But the Rashba says because I'm not having a Noah from it.
Because you don't need the body of the snake, therefore you're not having enough from it.
I don't need the thing itself.
But the reason is not because I need to have benefit from this, because it's not the purpose they had in the Mishkan. In the Mishkan, they needed the actual body, so I also need the body. The Ikar Vart is not whether I'm having enough from it. The Vart is it the same.
אבל מה הוא עשה פה? צוד נחש
שלא ישוכן. עכשיו יש לו מזה הנוי, כי הוא עושה מזה וואלט.
Oh, then he will be chayev. Then he will be chayev. If you're trapping the snake because you're going to use the skin, then that's the way they did it in the Mishkan.
Then it's a regular tzod.
That's right.
It's a regular tzod, hello?
That's the Melacha Mashavas. What did you have in mind?
That's right.
So let's see, he gets some more digmois. Mafis Mursa, someone has a blister and he made a hole in it, Lahitzi Leicha, in order to take out the pus which was inside, Hamazikasi, which was bothering him. And he wasn't using it to both take out pus and let in ear. Right? So that I saw so if you did in such a case, you're pater. Why? Even though you might think this isuk is made an opening, which you're using to take stuff out, you're still because you could use this hole to take things in and out. Still, the doorways that you had in the Mishkan, they built in the Mishkan, were made both for taking things in and taking things out. Therefore, since your kavanah is only to take when you're making this opening in the blister is only to take out, not to bring things back in.
But it's not meant.
It's Tzricha L'Gufa. You didn't have a kavanah. You weren't miskaven for the guf of the Melacha. So that's a third dogma he brings. And then goes second and third paragraph.
You skipped a lot.
Did I? If your kavana was not only to take out the pus, you also wanted the wound to ear out, so it should heal.
So you want lachnis v'loitzi.
Yes, it's lachnis v'loitzi. Then you're going to be chayiv because that's the way it was done in the Mishkan. And the third.
Also, isn't it says also Gabi, if you take out blood, is also.
Mitzidam. So why are you going to be high? Why are you taking it out?
No, but you're taking out the pus, but you have to make sure not to take out blood. Doesn't it say?
By this case, right, we're makel, someone who has sar, we're makel to, you could take out the pus. You have to be very careful you don't take out the dam, because that could be.
It's complicated.
That could be you could be around this one. In the third paragraph.
The dam wasn't bothering him.
You have to know these halachas.
Because it's a mitzidam.
Huh? And why the leg is not?
Because Leicha is not.
Leicha, it's the real bigger shayla is misada and mefarik. It's a shayla misada mefarik also. You're separating. So the dam. If you take out the dam is nivla in your basar. It's absorbed. So if you take out the dam, you're doing this from mefarik.
It's more nivla than the pus.
The pus is just sitting on top, right inside. It's not absorbed. It's sitting by itself. That's why there's no isra taking around of mefarik. In the third paragraph, Taisi gives more examples. Harigas hamazikin, someone kills someone who's just hurting him. Ein tzarich lahem, you don't need their bodies, you're not using them. When they shechted the animals, they needed the skins.
That's why you could kill mosquitoes on Shabbos.
That's why it would only be Melacha Shein Seichel Gufa, but it's still awesome midrabanan.
Kill mosquitoes is also with Rabbanon. Why is it also? If you know you're mazik, it mazik you?
It's not a real mazik. Unless
you're
today
with all the germs, with all the...
So unless it's shchiach, unless it's the zika.
That's what he's saying.
But even Seichel Gufa still awesome midrabanan.
No, I think mosquitoes is more...
It's more mazik to kill a mosquito.
Unless it's a place where the zika... Okay, the shayla is if the zika of these diseases are matzah enough, in your place where it's matzah, so you would be allowed to kill it. It's kind of special. Even not kind of service is going to get you. If it's going to get you sick, it's going to get you pretty sick. If it's a case of hezek, we're also making sometimes by Melacha Shein Seichel Gufa. So another example: the chayfer guma ve'ein tzarich elo la'afra. Someone digs a pit and he only needs the dirt. He doesn't need the actual hole. You're also putter. Why? To put the holes into it. When they made holes in the Mishkan, they actually used the holes. It wasn't just the dirt that they needed. That's one. And the Zav, this is...
Why are you not bringing to drive on Shabbos?
The Zav, the kiss.
Way out.
Shlei tanfu kelog. If a Zav goes out with a pouch in order... Someone goes out with a kiss, in order that his clothes shouldn't get dirty from the ziva.
Get you some.
You mean like you don't have to have a zav. Today is a diaper.
You need to make that fire to move.
Can an adult go with a diaper?
Yeah. That's not my objective.
Yeah, the Mishkan. Why did you make fire in the Mishkan?
So you're allowed to go with the diaper on Shabbos?
You're allowed to wear a diaper on Shabbos. It's a beged.
Huh?
It's a beged. You're allowed to wear it.
A diaper, an adult's diaper is a beged.
Beged, you're wearing it.
That's the kiss. That's exactly what the kiss is.
Kiss is a pouch that went around the ano. It wasn't the whole beged you were wearing. It was just a pouch that they put around the amo.
Because the shape of the...
So there's an Isra of Hitzal, it's considered carrying. Why are you putter? You come up in Tzricha Hitzal Zud, the Zav was going with the pouch, so it shouldn't get his clothes dirty. He doesn't need the actual pouch, he just doesn't want to get dirty. So he doesn't actually need the thing he's carrying out.
Really carried away.
No.
So he does need it.
Take an example. Forget the Zav.
It's only there to prevent. It's only there to stop.
I'm only
you
wearing
from
my jacket to keep me warm.
No, take an example. Are you allowed to wear a hood to protect your head from the rain?
הוד נפרד מהמעיל או לא נפרד מהמעיל?
When in the Mishkan, when they carried out things, they actually needed these chapetzim. Over here, you don't need this. You don't need the pouch. Are you having any benefit from the pouch? It's just preventing the damage.
All preventive. So clothing is also preventive. Take everything suddenly with the
you're allowed to wear clothes.
Yeah.
You're allowed to wear clothes, right? There's no. It's a derech.
Really?
I'm saying it's a. And it's a malvash. It's not considered carrying.
No, I'm saying even if you carry clothing, I want to say.
Why are you carrying it?
Why am I? Because I want to put it on to wear it, to not be cold. I don't need the jacket itself. I only need not to be cold. The same way the Zav needs his pouch, not to get dirty. I'm not using the jacket for anything. I don't know. It gets very fine lines here.
And the Tesis takes it even further. This is even bigger for this.
Jump up over
this is what Melacha brings. He brings out even if, let's say, he had the kiss because he needed to know if he had a riyah, right? Let's say he suffered 3 days. He needs to have lagabi tuma. He needs to see if he has a riyah. So Itaka needs to see the riyah. It's not just he shouldn't get dirty. Or during the zayin akim for a zava. And it's tzaricha kis mikamakim ain't tzarich leitzah zoom. Even though he needs the kiss, but he doesn't need the haitzah. The hachinami sagi le yasi b'chadukta.
He's mamish cutting it.
He could have stayed home with the kiss. He didn't need to take the kiss from point A to point B.
He
just needed the kiss to carry it. He would have been totally fine if he stayed home all day long.
I didn't need to go out to put on the clothing.
I happens to be I need to go out. It happens to be I need to go out because I need to go daven shachris. But I didn't need to bring the kiss from here to the shul. I would have been fine if I didn't need to leave the house. I'd be totally fine keeping the kiss at home.
So when I carried my jacket in my hand to shul, I didn't really need to carry. I could have stayed at home and held my jacket in my hand.
So this is the piece that Melacha brings Lagavi Meichtach. He wants to say maybe what they can say Meichtach is Machshin Sichel Gufa because Ratzim you don't need it. You'll be totally fine. She'd be totally fine. She didn't need to bring the Meichtach to the place where she was going. She would be fine staying at home with it.
But she did need to bring it because she had to go there.
Right, but she had to go there. But she didn't.
But not the
She didn't need to bring the Meichtach. She didn't need to bring from point A to point B.
So
In the Mishnah, he brings up discussion. Ask her. Ask her.
So it's a heter because it's not like you're allowed.
What? It's still Isra D'Rabbanan. The Shaila over there is only during Bein HaShmashi. Sometimes Bein HaShmashi serves Shabbos or Mekel with certain Isurim.
So you're saying it's a D'Rabbanan Bein HaShmashis. That's why you're
the whole discussion is here Bein HaShmashi. Sometimes Bein HaShmashi, Safek Yim, Safek Laila. Sometimes we're Mekel with different Isurim. So Melacha brought up whatever. If there's a Shaila, I might ask it up. But he brought up the Svar over there. Maybe you can say it's only Melacha. Sheaino Tzricha L'Gufon. But it's a very fine line. He'll bring a few another dugma in the fourth paragraph. Putting out if there's a hot thing on fire in the street, which people might get hurt by it, and you put it out. You put out the fire. And also, if you put out a candle because you don't want the candle to get all the wax, you want the candle to get all burnt out. And you don't want the oil to get burnt out. Or you didn't want the wick to get burnt up, which was already lit before. Ein Tzricha L'Gufan. That's also Ein Tzricha L'Gufan. Why? The only reason because in the Mishkan, the only reason they did a kibui was in order to use the ashes left over. The kibui zeh, u'mesakin al yad kibui zeh shiuru ilam mechas hatzarfin, and through the kibui they are able to use it for the tzarfin, the people who were making things in the fire. They would when they use the ashes, they use it for coals.
For ink to make DA. What did they use it for?
Maybe I think for the surfing. I guess coals. Maybe they used it for coals when they had to make things with the metal. I'm not sure. And to say, and you can't say that in the Mishkan they needed to put out fires in order that things they were cooking shouldn't get too burnt. Because that lehayiv Mishkan kizahidim hayishli lahar b'seishis midayim. Because the Kohanim were people were zrizin, they are very careful, and they made sure that the fire was the right size, and they didn't need to put out the fires in the Mishkan.
Just want to clarify very important thing. It's poter avaloso, right?
Yes, poter avaloso.
It's poter avaloso. People think about poter Rab Shimon means you can do whatever you want. It's
poter
not so simple.
Right, but it comes up and again certain cases in Tzricha Mitzvah or Mekel for a guy to do it.
So you have a way out.
Right, or Mekel sometimes. So the Shaila is certain times it's important to know when is something only Melacha in Tzricha L'Gufan, because then certain things you can be Mekel in specific cases. So till now, so this is Shittas HaTeisei. So it has to be similar to the way it was in the Mishkan. In the Mishkan, they knew the actual chayfetz there that they did the Melachis with. So I'll go on to the third shitta. So the third shitta, which the Merkavas and Mishnah and a lot of Achronim found very alarming, It's Shittas Rashi. What does Rashi say? So Rashi is scattered in a few different sectors. Rashi says different bits and pieces. Look in the first one in Chagigo. Rashi in the third Maramakim. Rashi explains Chagigo Dafiyud Amud Aleph. Rashi is saying what is Shittas Rabbi Shimon? Rashi says Rabbi Shimon Amar Milse Gabi Meitzias Meis. Rabbi Shimon said Machshin Sinchel Gufo in the case of taking out a dead person, the mitel Kavri B'Shabbos to bury him. The Kamar Rabbi Shimon Pater Al Hitzazun. But Tzricha, he would rather not need to do this. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I'd rather not need to do this. Don't have him die, and I won't need to do it.
Don't have it rain, so
this is similar to the Rashba. No, isn't this similar to the Rashba?
What?
Isn't this similar to the Rashba?
The Vart of the Rashba is that I'm not having hana from it. That I'm not having hana from the Melacha. I'm not having hana from burying the person.
So is he going back
the Vart of Rashi isn't that I'm not having hana from it. I would rather not need to do it. I would rather not have a necessary. I would rather don't let him die, and I won't need to bury him. Right, and
don't make it cold. I won't have to build a bias.
Yeah, Rashi right about like kibbutz ner. Someone put out a fire. I'd rather not to have fire. I'd rather if the fire wasn't lit, then I wouldn't need to put it out. So right, so the rest, so everyone's so everyone else on this will pay that anyone ever safe, right?
I'd rather it be black. It's not black. I have to go and survey it and make it red. I would rather it be red.
So the Sheaino is first asked what else making medicine, right? There's a whole gazette you can't take medicine on Shabbos. It might come to be sheikh
I'd rather not be sick.
I'd rather not be sick. I rather. So the Sheaino is how far do you stretch this? So what brings it in?
Well, that will go with the car.
So the beginning Sheaino.
I'd rather be next door. I don't want to drive down.
So the beginning Sheaino teaches us. So what's Rashi trying to say?
Why you skip this?
What? We're going to get to them soon. The beginning Sheaino, he focuses more on. In the fourth Maramakim, he tells what's Rashi. Rashi says any melacha which is behechrach, some melacha which you're forced to do it wasn't beratzin. That's when it's melacha in tzricha l'gufa. Right. So all these cases when something is bothering you and you're being forced to do it, that's when it's considered. But if you're happy about it,
it's cold outside.
What? In a chinami, if you weren't happy about the house, in a chinami, he says, we'll see. In the fourth Maramakim, he says, Kitzari shel davar, Kitzari shel davar, Kol shel oisek kedei lahatzna ashmei. Whenever he's doing something in order to save himself, he's potter. Right? Because he's muchrach, he's doing it by force. Melachas machshavas is you're doing it, but you want to do it. Someone's forcing you to do it. It's not melachas machshavas.
Something is what?
But if you could have done less, you could have done something very minimal in order to save yourself on the damage. But you're doing and you're doing it. You're fixing it even more. Let's say, right, if your clothes got torn and you're sewing it, you could have done it in a very minimal way. You could have stitched it, but you wanted to do a proper sewing, so you did a proper stitching. So even though it's chazabayinus, you're going to be chayim kol makim hasha the isa the nichalei. Now that you're happy about the melacha, having melacha tzricha l'gufa. That extra bit you did, it wasn't to save yourself from damage. Therefore, you're going to be chayav. And like you're saying, you said if you're cold, he brings that example. The efshar afilunim hu lekech beged karua v'teifrik de lahavish asmi lahasmi lakar. Let's say you could say maybe even it was cold outside and he had to fix his beg in order to save himself from the cold. Va'afilu teifer beged chadash. And even beged chadash, and his kavanah was only to stop himself be warm. He didn't care. He's going to throw it out afterwards. He wouldn't keep it and be happy about it. Why
can't he keep it after?
No,
I'm doing it now.
You're happy about
it now because I need it not ripped. I need it fixed. I have to throw it away because I needed it now.
Because then it's not only it's not the hechrach. You're happy even without the hechrach. You're still happy about it.
But I didn't quote the rest of it. I'm doing it in
Tchilasei va'inus, but seifi v'ratzin, right? That's what he says before. Even though Tchilasei va'inus, when you come okay, now that it happened, you're happy about it.
No, but I couldn't do it any less. Tchilasei va'inus, v'seifi v'ratzin is when I make it better than it had to be. But if I do what I have to do because the Einis, I have to throw it away. I didn't do more than I had to do.
But you have something that you're happy with. At the end of the day, you're happy
because
to have
I'm
a
happy,
bacon.
there's a problem.
Yeah.
I did it because it was an Einis. I had to be Tafir because it was an Einis. I had to be Tafir because it was an Einis. My pants fell off and it ripped. So I had to be Tafir in the middle of the street. Now I have to throw it away after Shabbos. No.
So
where does he say that? Who says that? Huh? Where does he say that I have to throw it away? It's only if I do more than I had to do.
נו, לא זוקטרנו, אף על גב, בתחילוסו באוינס היום, מכל מוקו משהו דיקו דניחו להב במלוך הצריך.
That's if he does it more to nichale. If he sews it extra good because he wants to nichale, he got carried away. But what if he did those few stitches as
Where does it say it does extra good? You're making your own words. It doesn't say such things. You're adding your own words, then you ask Shaila, like Toysvis. Toysvis, when he says Rashi, ever saw it? He adds extra words, and then he asks the question Rashi.
Listen, he was already Nitzel Min HaHezek with what he did. Now he's doing more. Where is doing more?
Where is doing more? Where is he doing more? Were you adding words for?
איפה כתוב מור?
לא יודע, הוא מוסיף לבד מילים. ראיתי את זה כמה פעמים. הוא מוסיף כמה מילים על הרש"י, ואז הוא שואל שאלה. אל תוסיף.
Rashi writes by Mafis more so. Even though your kavanah, if you want it to stay open, if you want this hole that you made to stay open, if you want it to stay open, that in case more pus comes later, it'll be easier to take it out. Rashi says you're going to be chayav. It's Melacha Tzricha Gufa. And he explains why, because even though it's Misanda Hechrach, you're doing it only because you're sick, but right now you're not Mukhrach to do it. Right now the pus is not there, and you're happy, you want it to stay open.
We're talking where you are Mukhrach.
You're
your
Mukhrach.
pants fell off.
You have pus, right? Right now the pus is there, and you're Mukhrach to do it because of pus. But since at the end of the day, you don't, Rashi says you only putter if you don't care if it closes up.
If you make a pesach,
but Rashi says
your kavan is to make a pesach. What
Rashi
says to take it out? Now it came out, and it's open, and I'm happy it's open.
That's what Rashi says you only putter if you don't care if it closes up afterwards. Rashi says you only putter if you don't care if it closes up afterwards. But if you want it to stay open, you see that you're happy about it, and therefore it's tzricha l'gufa. It's not the hechrach. It was not the
be unhappy. You have to be unhappy that you didn't fit.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It has to be that was mamish ba'inus.
Ba'inus means that I have to sew it. Now that it's sewed, it comes to Shabbos, I have to throw it away because I'm happy now. It's a venzich when I do the Einus. I have to think about the Einus. Maybe I can.
I don't know if you have to throw it away, but you have to. We are able to use it only like b'chdei shiyase. Maybe allowed to use it b'chdei shiyase.
You can take out the stitches. You can take out the stitches.
I don't think you need to do it.
Why?
But
the stitches we let you do the Einus. We don't want you to do more than you need to do, but what you need to do, you do.
He says you have to throw it away.
I'm going to be happy for what I did.
He says
if you're going
to happy,
I'll use it a week later.
I don't know. It says over here, the komakim nichalish ihela beged mi ozra hala. Then it's a problem.
That's what they call it. That's the goods for them.
Okay. So this is the beginning of Shleimus Taich, and there's a similar mahalach.
You got a little carried away.
There's a similar mahalach about a shaila comes up if someone's forcing you. There's a truth from the Maharik about someone's forcing you to do a melacha. The guy telling you do this melacha or else I'm going to kill you. What does it then say? Right, so there's some melacha in tzricha l'gufa. It says it's melacha in tzricha l'gufa.
No.
The guy tells you
take it apart after Shabbos.
No, that's like by the Nazis. The Nazis force you to work.
He's telling you
by the Nazis. He tells you to work.
He tells you do this melacha or I'm going to kill you. So even though your kavanah is to make a tafshil that should be eaten. But since it's only misad hechrach, you're muchrach to do it. You're going to be you're potter.
Well, first of all, you're potter anyhow because it's a konfirmation or whatever. I don't need to tell you you're potter because of any tzricha go for that's a derabban.
What about b'shas hashmad? B'shas hashmad you mechuyivim and that to moisel nefesh.
We're not up to that then yet.
So Lepeil. So it's a similar.
So 1 second, do I have to take it apart once a Shabbos or not? What I did with your example.
I don't think so.
Neither do I.
In this example, you
the same thing over here.
Lapel, this is brought down.
The same thing. Yeah.
This svara is brought down. The Maisel, the guy with the Sheaino comes to about Kratzola being Mechal Shabbos for Goyim. Right? Hatzola can be Mechal Shabbos for Yidden. That's not for Pashut. What about a Goy? A Goy calls Hatzola. Kratzola go and answer a call for a Goy. Could they be Mechal Shabbos? So what machlekes for Isser Rabbanon? There's svaras Sheaino. Some Sheaino say Mishum Eva. You want to start machlekes and you're allowed to. You could do Isser Rabbanon. The Sheaino is what about Isser Deraisa? Can you do Isser Deraisa? So first of all, Pashas you can say that there's maybe the sakanas nefashis. There could be issues. There could be sakanas nefashis if the goyim know that we're not going to be taking care of them.
And then you won't be able to do it. Even if they'll close down the whole thing.
Yes, but besides for that, but the Tzitz Eliezer, actually the Divrei Yatziv brings up a svara. He says according to this Marik, you could say it's only Isser Rabbanon because that's the Yid doesn't want to be Mechal Shabbos. He's only doing it mitzad the hechrach because misad the government, whatever issues he's muchrach to save the guy also. Really, he doesn't want to be Mechal Shabbos, and therefore you can say it's only Melacha Sheaino Tzricha L'Gufo. So whatever, not too many. Saying there are chalkim on this svara.
You can do different things by good and you can do by Yid also.
You can approach. Be
more.
So we know he doesn't want
to do it. Be a different approach by a Yid than by a girl.
Yeah. So that's where this svara is brought down. So the Tzemach Tzedek has a little bit of a different taich in Rashi. Look in the second Rashi and the third Marmaki, Rashi in Sanhedrin. Rashi has a little bit other Lashenis. It says, Rabbi Shimon Nami Lei Mechayev, Ela B'Miskaven L'Kach, the Havit Tzricha L'Chabola. Over there, the Gemara is talking about if you're trying to take out a splinter. If you're trying to take out a splinter, and the chashash is maybe blood is going to come out. So you say, no, according to Rabbi Shimon, you're going to be patik Zayin Tzricha L'Gufa. Why? So Rabbi Shimon Nami Lei Mechayev, Ela B'Miskaven L'Kach. Only if you're Miskaven to take out the blood, the Havit Tzricha L'Chabola, because then you wanted the Chabola. Aval Nitel Kaitz, Ein Tzricha L'Chabola, B'Rtzoynei Lech Yechbel. It wasn't B'Rtzoynei. He didn't want it to happen.
So it's
not a psikration, right? You take out the splinter. It's not. We're talking in a case where it's not psikration that blood is going to come out. So the Tzemach Tzedek is invited from this. That the Iker word by Rashi is whether it's B'Ratzon. Did you want this? Did you want to do this from Melacha or not? Lashon Tzemach Tzedek is in the fifth Maramakim. Fifth Maramakim, Tzemach Tzedek says, "V'nira, the Pirsh Ein Tzricha, Hein She'ein Rotzein Klal Lachbeil." He doesn't have any rotzin to do this. Kamei B'Neitel Kaitz, so he takes out the splinter. He didn't want to take out dam. Aval B'Miskaven Lachbeil. But let's say you were angry at someone. You wanted to hit him. You wanted to make him bleed. You wanted to give him a bloody nose. Whatever reason is, since your rotzin is to do this melacha.
What's the svara on this?
Even though I'm not having a no, according to
I am having a no. I want to hit the guy. I'm having a lot of no. I want to hit the guy. I want to be mechabel. This is a perfect case.
But you're not having a hana from the melacha, from the blood. Are you nana from the blood? Do you have any hana from the makam? You just gotta kick him.
From the ash when I light a fire.
You don't have hana from the goof of the melacha.
You light the cigarette. Here, I had enough from the Kabbalah. I wanted to hit him and I hit him.
You didn't physically have enough from him. Till now, the Rashba says you have enough from the goof of the Melacha. You have enough from the actual thing. You physically have no enough from it.
But it calms your nerves.
I accomplished what I wanted to do.
It calms the person's nerves. He feels better now.
But that's exactly what he wanted to do.
But that's not a physical. But
what's the Yiddish name?
The Rashba was talking where you have a direct hana from the actual malacha you're doing over here. I have no direct hana from it. It's like it's
splitting hairs.
Let's see. Let's where were we? The The late down the Mitzvah Sameis, they like Tzricha v'Ratzim Guf Haitzah. He has no Ratzim in the Guf Haitzah. He's forced he has to go.
So why is he potter?
But in case of hitting him.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm asking. It's the Pashtus. That's what we're saying. What's the Chiddush that you're chayiv?
The Chiddush is the Pashtus. You need to actually having a physical hanaf from it. We'll do one more thing. We'll do the Alter Rebbe.
If I make a fire for somebody else, I'm not chayiv. I'm not physically having enough of it.
No, but someone else is having.
I'm lighting a fire for somebody else.
But he's physically having enough.
The other guy's having enough.
One more thing. We'll do the Alter Rebbe. So till now we have 3 shittas. Yeah, we have the Rashba, Tesis, and Rashi. Alter Rebbe has different lashonis. In the 6th Maramak, Alter Rebbe writes, "Melacha tzricha gufo, k'leimar shahamelacha tzricha b'shvil gufo." That you need this melacha for the goof of the thing. What does that mean? That you need the actual chayfetz, where some melacha is done with. How so? If you put out the fire in order because you need the actual ashes, in order that you use the coals. The goof of melacha is done in the pchamim. You need it for different things. Which the goof of melacha is not done in this thing. You put out the fire because you need the oil, but you didn't care about the wick. You didn't care about the wick or and the ashes. So Alter Rebbe. So this is where it's confusing. The question is where the Alter Rebbe says that what's the gather of Melacha Tzricha Gufo, that you need the thing which the Melacha is done with. If you're lighting a fire, you need the actual fire. You're putting out the fire, you need the thing which the fire was put out on. And what other digmais are there? You're carrying something, you need the thing which was carried. The ikar, how do you know if something is tzricha gufa if you need the thing that the Melacha is done with? So
it's like more normal, like we would think. Let's say the more normal.
It sounds similar to the Rashba. It sounds similar to the Rashba. The Rashba, the word is that you need to have hana. The Rashba says you need to have hana from the thing that you do the melacha with. Alter Rebbe is different lashonis.
So Alter Rebbe, what would be by carrying out a mess?
Carrying out a mace, you don't need the dead person.
I don't need the gufa davar.
You don't need the gufa davar where some melachas nasis by.
It is very similar to the Rashba, right?
But it's different. It's a stick of a different hasbara. Like the Rashba sounds like the ikavart these mantikas you need to have enough from it. And also, it's
every time I need something, it's giving me a nos. It's really the same thing, no?
Practically, yeah. I don't know if practically you're going to have a nafkamina. It could be maybe unless you have a case where you don't have hana from it, but you need the thing. If you usually whenever you need something, you're going to have enough of it.
If I don't need it, I'm not going to have enough.
So what's the name? Kaplan and Kaplan or Shalom Eretz Yisrael. So he dug up a Yerushalmi. There was the Yerushalmi is mamish the lashon of the Alter Rebbe. Whenever the Yerushalmi, look in the 7th Maramakin, the Yerushalmi says by putting out a candle. Rabbi Yissi says you only putter if you needed the ashes. Amar Rabbi Yechon, Rabbi Yissi, Rabbi Shimon Sheaino, Amar Davar Echad. Kamad Rabbi Yissi Eimer. They both say the same thing. Rabbi Yissi was like Rabbi Shimon. And Amar Rabbi Yissi, Amar Rabbi Yissi, Amar Ashi Helik Tzerich Begufa Shel Psilo. You're not chayiv unless when you put out the fire you need an actual psilo. Kein Rabbi Shimon Eimer. So to Rabbi Shimon says Ashi Helik Tzerich Begufa Shel Davar. Until you have a tzerich and a goof of the thing, that's when you're going to be chayiv. So he says this Sheaino Alter Rebbe takes is mamish the Sheaino Yerushalmi. The whole Yerushalmi, essentially, whenever it brings up the svara shit that's Rabbi Shimon, Melach Shein Tzricha L'Gufa, it doesn't say Melach Shein Tzricha L'Gufa. It says this lashon Tzerich B'Gufa Shel Davar. The Yerushalmi uses a different lashon. It doesn't say Melach Tzricha L'Gufa. It says Tzerich B'Gufa Shel Davar.
Exactly the way the Alter Rebbe is explaining it, and very similar to saying Rashi.
Negative term, positive term.
Which is also interesting. Why is Alter Rebbe going with the Yerushalmi, right? The Alter Rebbe, you have the other Sheanim who say different hezver. So there, this is already for Rosh Hashivas and Haras and Burim. Maybe maybe is he going with Tesis? Could he say Tesis really meant this, or did the Rasha really mean this? So that's already taking it to another step. But this is the basic gist of the sugya.
If you need the thing itself, you have enough from
the thing which the Melacha is done with. You need the thing. I would say it in it.
But the whole process in paper, you can figure out a way how to make give it hectare for a person.
So let's make a sikkim.
You can make it to abundant, maybe.
Let's make a sikkim of all the shittas we had. What is tzricha l'gufa? So the Rashba says that Melacha tzricha l'gufa is if you have hana, a benefit from the Melacha. If you have a positive benefit. If the hana is only trying to prevent the damage and stop you from getting hurt or preventing a fire, you don't have no actual positive hana from it, so you're potter. That's the Rashba's taich. Tish's taiches Melacha tzricha l'gufa is that it was the same type of tzrich they had in the Mishkan. The same need they had in the Mishkan, that's the need you have. So to the Mishkan, when they carried things outside, they needed the actual things they were carrying. When they trapped things, they needed the things they were trapping. So it has to be similar to the way it was in the Mishkan. Shittas Rashi sounds very different. Rashi says that did I want it to happen? Am I forced to doing it? Rashi says I rather not need to be in such a situation. I rather not have this person die. I need to bury him. I rather not have this thing catch on fire. I need to put it out.
I'd rather it not be like this.
I'd rather not be like this.
I'd rather not drive. I'd rather it would be next door.
That's the
best one.
There's different view in Shittas Rashi. Then that's the third shit. And then you have the Alter Rebbe, which the Sheaino is who's Alter Rebbe going with. The Alter Rebbe says that you need to have a tzerich in the guf of the davar shemelacha masas by. If you have a need, if you need the thing which the object which the melacha is being done in, then it is considered tzrich l'gufa. That's how you know that you need that you really actually need the melacha. You need the thing that the melacha is done with. And you have these lashonis in the Yerushalmi, so whatever. And the Rosh Yeshivas are trying to figure out how does this fit with the Rishonim?
There's no Rambam over
here. Because the Rambam says Machshin Sichel Gufas Chayev. This whole discussion is all according to Rabbi Shimon. The Rambam passing is like Rabbi Yehuda. So
we passed him on later building.
I didn't like Rabbi Yehuda, but we try to be machmir.
This only when you could be made.
Yeah, but usually we're cheshish for the Rambam. Ikar didn't be passing Rabbi Shimon, but we usually try to be machmir for the Rambam. Yeah, this is right. Here's your.
Yeah. Wow.